Hey guys, we just moved on to a new lesson this week, and that lesson is finding partial products. I know that you are probably used to using the standard algorithm and are probably not even a huge fan of seeing it worked out in multiple ways, but I found that this really helps kids to understand what it is exactly that they're doing and make sense of the numbers. And there are two main ways that we show the partial products. Partial meaning part of, and then products, of course, are the answer to a multiplication problem. So partial products are when you find each part and then put it together to find the final product. So those two ways that we do that are an area model, which includes the boxes, and then there's a separate way where we split it up. So I'm going to show you the area model first. And you may have seen them bring these home in 4th grade, and they're just regular sized boxes. And in 5th grade, we do it just a little bit differently, where it looks a little bit more like this. I'm going to go ahead and draw the box for you. We're going to use really more of a long rectangle. And I'm going to split it up to where you can actually see the values of each part of 247. So I'm going to start with 247 first. And they've already learned how to do this, and we're just talking about numbers at the beginning of the year where they expand out 247 into expanded form, which is 200 plus 40 plus 7. So in my area model, I'm going to show that the 200 has more value. So I'm going to have a bigger box for that. That's going to be my 200 plus, and then this is going to be also a bigger box, but this is going to be a little bit smaller. So that would be my 40. And then my last box represents my ones place, and that's 7. So that's worth a little bit less. So I have 200 plus 40 plus 7. I'm also going to represent the 63 as 60 plus 3. So I'm going to show that on the area model going the other way. And this part's going to be my 60. And this part's going to be my 3. So altogether, that's 63. So what we're going to do next is we're going to find those partial products. We're going to show parts of the products. And it's kind of like a multiplication, the old school multiplication chart where you go across or meet in the middle like this. And we're going to find the answers to go like that. So starting with these two, we have 60 times 200. So we know that 6 times 200 would be 1200 because 6 times 2 is 12. And then, but you're not just multiplying it times 2, you're multiplying it times 200. So that would be 1200. But if we're multiplying it times 60, then we're making it one place value bigger or 10 times as large. So that wouldn't be 1200, that would actually be 12,000 because 12,000 is 10 times more than 1200. Or I also teach them, I don't really like tricks a lot, but I do teach them this, that if you're multiplying 60 times 200, I try to at least teach them how that works. So we know that 6 times 2 is 12. We're going to have 3 zeros in our answer because we have 3 place values that we're adding to that, or it's 10 times 10 times 10 times as much, which would be 1,000 times as much. So we know that we're gonna that's gonna be 1,000 times bigger because each one of those zeros represents times 10. So we should have 1, 2, 3 zeros in our answer, and we do 1, 2, 3. So then I'm going to move to this one. So 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 40 is 240. So 60 times 40 is going to be 10 times that much, which is 2,400 or 2,000. So next we would do 60 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. So 6 times 7 is 420. And then we're going to move to multiplying everything times this row, which is the 3. So we're going to multiply the 200 times 3. And most of them would be able to tell me that that's 600, because they know that 3 times 2 is 6, so 3 times 200 would be 600. And then we multiply 40 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. So 3 times 40 would be 10 times that much, which would be 120. And 3 times 7 is 21. So that one's easy, if they know their facts. The next thing that we're going to do is add up those partial products. So I'm going to add up this row, I'm going to add up this row, and I'm going to add up this row. So this would be, that's pretty easy because we're just adding 12,000 plus 600, so that would be 12,600. This one would be 2, 4 and a 1 in the hundreds place, so that's a 500, and then 2,000, and then this one, 1, 1, 4 tens, 4 hundreds. Okay, so now we have our partial products. We're going to put those together. We're going to add them together. 12,600. Now line up our place values. So this would be 2,520, and then 441. We're going to add all those together. So that would be a 1, 6. I like to add the 6 and the 4 first because that would just be 10, so it makes it easier. Plus 5 more is 15. 2 and 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5, and then 1. So our final answer is 15,561. Okay, so I'm going to show them a different way starting tomorrow, and I'm going to break these up. I'm going to keep the 247 actually, and I'm going to have 2 different multiplication problems. I'm going to have 247 times the 60 and 247 times the 3. So 247 times 60, 247 times 3. So for this one, I'm going to multiply 200 times 60. I'm going to multiply 40 times 60. And I'm going to multiply 7 times 60. Let me just go over that again. So just looking at this, I'm multiplying each place value. So I'm multiplying the hundreds place. I'm multiplying 200 times 60, 40 times 60, and 7 times 60. And you could look at it like this. I'm multiplying the 200 times 60, the 40 times 60, and the 7 times 60. And then I'm going to find my partial products. 200 times 60, we've actually already done each one of those over here. 200 times 60 is 12,000. 40 times 60 would be 24 and 2 zeros, so that would be 2,400 or 2,400. 7 times 60, that would be 42 and 1 0, so that would be the 420. And the difference is, here we added these rows, and now we're going to be adding, or these are really columns, we're adding those 3 columns. Here we're adding these these rows. So we have 12,000 plus 240 plus 420. So we're not going to get the same answers down here that we got, but we should get this same answer if we did it correctly. And I know that can be kind of confusing, but it's also really rewarding if we don't make any mistakes. Okay, so I'm going to add my ones place, add my tens place, add my hundreds place, my thousands, and my 10,000. So I have 14,820 as one of my partial products. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and that one's going to be easier. And it also looks, if you're a parent and you're watching this, this looks a lot more similar to what we've done in the past. But I'm just going to write out, we're just not using like a 0 as a placeholder like we did when we were in school. Okay, so we're going to multiply 200 times 3. So 200 times 3, like this, 200 times 3, 40 times 3, 7 times 3. So that's what I'm going to write out right here. 200 times 3, 40 times 3, 7 times 3. So 40 times 3 and 7 times 3. So the first one is 2 times 3 is 6. So this would be 600. Notice that we have that over here too. 40 times 3, we've already done that too. That's right there. But 4 times 3 is 12, but it's really 40, so it would be 120. And 7 times 3 is 21. So we'll add all those together. Those are our partial products that we're going to add together. 1, 4 tens, 7 ones. Now we're just going to add those two together. So we have 14,820 plus 741. So now we're going to add our ones. That's 1. I really hope it's the same thing as it is over here. 4 plus 2 is 6. So far, so good. I know that 7 and 7 is 14, and 8 is 1 more than that. So this is 15. Add the 1 at the top. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 1 10,000. So we got it. We have the same thing here as we did here. These are two different ways. This one is an area model showing partial products. This one is really close to that standard algorithm that we're used to seeing, but breaking it up into partial products and then putting those partial products together. So that's it. 15,561 is our final answer. Thanks for watching.